What's up everyone, my name is Tonsai Gods and I will be talking about Ah-Muzen-Cab, the Mayan god of bees today. I will be referring to Ah-Muzen-Cab as AMC. So let's start off with the overview. It says here that his difficulty is easy. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. To be honest, I think he's rather hard. I'll get into that when we get into the abilities, but it says here that he has high movement speed, high attack speed. That is all correct. He has great lane pressure, but he doesn't have much to follow up because he doesn't have an escape or not much of an initiation. So let's dive into the abilities here. So first we have bees. This is his passive, so let's read this. Enemies afflicted by bees take damage every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds and are revealed on the minimap. The bees will also attack any nearby enemies that aren't already affected by bees, continuing to spread to nearby enemies over time. So as you can see here, each enemy takes 8 damage per tick every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds for a total of 6 ticks, and that's plus 5% of your physical power. While it might not seem that much, once you start building up your physical power, then it starts doing quite a bit, and when someone's running away with, like, say, 50 health, all of a sudden they have no more health and they die to the ticks. So he could be strong that way, but it's not necessarily the best passive, especially for a hunter. So getting into his first ability here, it's a deployable called Hive. It is a ground target and it only affects AMC. It has a radius of 80, which is quite large. The auto attack range is 55, so the radius is quite large. Bees swarm at the ground target location, creating a new hive that provides movement and attack speed buffs to Ah-Muzen-Cab. He also heals for a small amount every second while he remains close to the hives. The hives can only be destroyed by basic attacks, and you can have a maximum of 6 hives. Now this is quite a good ability. I usually level it up max after his second ability, which is his lane clear. It gives, at max rank, 12 healing, so 12 HP per tick. Gives up to 30% movement speed, which is a part of his pros. Attack speed 50%, so that is massive. As a ADC, you definitely want that attack speed, so you can actually belt out those kind of auto attacks, so you can out damage your opponent in lane. Using yourself, you can body block the hive, so you can duel the enemy ADC while in the range of the hive. The cost is a little bit pricey considering it only goes away in like one hit. So if the enemy ADC does manage to hit it, it'll cost up to 60 mana to put it back up. Quite pricey, but could be worse. Let's move on to Swarm here. It is a line ability, and it only affects enemies. That is minions and gods, not structures. But it does affect objectives such as the Titan, Gold Fury, and Fire Giant. So the range is 70, quite large, not quite as large as Hives. Let's read here. Ah-Muzen-Cab summons a large swarm of bees that fly forward in a path in front of him, dealing damage to all enemies hit and applying bees to them. So it's quite straightforward. Basically, you don't need to have the hives up to infect them with bees. You'll just automatically get infected when you get hit by swarm. Damage wise, rank 1 is not that great, 60 damage, but as soon as you hit rank 2, that's like, that's huge. That's almost doubling the rank 1. So you go from 60 to 115 to a max of 280 damage plus 80% of your physical power. This is huge because it knocks back minions in a wave, so you can kind of bunch them all together and push your wave. So that's why I say that AMC has one of the best lane pressure presence kind of feel to him as a hunter. But as far as finishing the job where you get to kill the enemy hunter or push them out of lane, I think he lacks a little bit because he has to walk everywhere. He's not like an on-her that can jump on them and kind of pressure them, you know? Because when someone jumps on you, you get kind of frazzled and then you want to jump right out, right? AMC is just walking forward, so then you're just kind of like preparing for it. He's kind of predictable, so going forward, we have Honey. Ah-Muzen-Cab sprays honey at a movable ground target location, slowing all enemies in the area. Bees from hives within 55 feet and swarm will fly over to protect the honey, dealing damage every 0.5 seconds and applying bees to all enemies as they leave the honey. So you can see now how this kit kind of blends together. You have the passive, which is bees that do damage, and then you have hive, which if you spray the honey within presence of the hive, you can actually apply bees to people, as well as slowing them. So you get 60 damage per tick at max, and that's plus 15% of your physical power, plus bees, and then hive, plus the slow. So as you can see on paper, AMC sounds like a great hunter, but as far as it goes for being easy, I wouldn't say he's very easy as much as he is hard. That's why I wouldn't suggest him to new ADCs. I'd rather, if you're experienced, I would at least tell you to try him out. I wouldn't say he's a crap god, don't try him, because I do think he's a good god, but as far as survivability, he doesn't have much. So build with the Heartseeker and the Aussie is not necessarily the best. I would rather play safe with him so that he doesn't get shut down completely. He's very vulnerable to ganks and gods like on her that can have the knockup plus the stun. Next, let's move on to his ultimate. It's not like a big team fight kind of massive ult like, say, Shibalanke's or Hui's. It's more like a single target, which is why he's kind of a subpar kind of hunter, you know, because Season 2 is all about massive effects on the team fights. So he's kind of lacking in that because this is just a single target. So he excels at 1v1s. So Ah-Muzen-Cab fires off an enormous stinger that deals damage to all enemies in a line, sticking into the first god that is hit, applying bees, and crippling them for 3 seconds. If the target dies, or after 3 seconds, the stinger falls onto the ground for 4 seconds. If Ah-Muzen-Cab picks up his stinger, he gains a significant reduction to stinger's cooldown. So right off the bat, your cooldown is 90 seconds flat. That's almost the same with like every other ultimate, save for, let's say, Raw's, that is quite lower than other cooldowns because it's pretty hard to hit. This one will actually give you 80% cooldown reduction, and that is huge. I can tell you that if you hit someone in a team fight, pick it back up, then you reset during the team fight, then you can use it again. You can use it over and over again, as long as you have the mana for it. So it does massive amounts of damage. Starting at level 5, 275 damage plus 110% of your physical power, so that is a huge spike as soon as you hit level 5 if you can hit it. It's a very difficult skill shot, but it does massive amounts of damage. It's very good, but not the best ult. So let's just jump into jungle practice here with Ah-Muzen-Cab to kind of give you a demo of how he plays.
My victory shall be sweeter than honey.
So off the bat, you're gonna want to start off with the Bluestone Pendant, Tier 1 of Devourer's Gauntlets, and 1 Healing Potion. This will give you the sustain you need to stay in lane versus your enemy laners. So after that, I would go into Devourer's Gauntlets, Ninja Tabby, Ichabel, Executioner, Rage, and then sell this, get Deathbringer. This will maximize your attack speed, which at level 1 you'll get 1.63. By level 20 you'll be up in the 2s. So right now you just put your hive down like this, and automatically it goes from 1.6 something to 1.73. So that's huge. As you can see, he's already firing pretty fast. What you want to do as Ah-Muzen-Cab is, so say this is lane, this is the base, so you'll want to get to max range. This is max range of the honeybee, so as you can see it's quite large. You'll want to make another one here, so then it connects. So now you have one here, one there, so you have the movement speed and attack speed all the way from here to the end, which could be all the way by the speed buff over there to over here, which is where the lane is. So this is the lane here, you could see, and his number 2 swarm does, like, it is huge. It is almost half the lane, so it's not bad. And you can see here it pushes back the waves, so you can take them all for yourself without having the minions ever touch them. Of course, I'm level 2, but I have the full build, so it'll be a little more drastic per se, the effects. So you see here, the line is over there, up to over there. The effects don't overlap, which is a shame, but it's fine. So as you can see, the his ultimate is much smaller compared to his lane clear. It is probably a third of the lane clear, which could be really devastating if you miss, especially if you miss during a team fight and you're basically left with nothing, because his cooldowns are quite long actually. The cooldown for this at rank 1 is 16 seconds, and that is quite huge. That's probably to remedy the amount, like how effective it actually is. So let's shoot the stinger at Raw here. So you see there, he's kind of glowing like that, and then it'll just go down like that. You have a little exclamation marks, and then you pick it up. Ah-Muzen-Cab says something like, "Oh, retrieved," and then all of a sudden your cooldown is like 14 seconds. Pretty useful. So I'm just gonna put down a hive right here. So you can see my movement speed is up right here, and my attack speed is up too. So let's go ahead and apply bees on this guy. So now he's taking damage every second. It looks like 28 damage per second. Not bad. And then all of a sudden you go like that, and then he's dead. I mean, his kit is simple, and on paper it works really well, but I mean, he's not the best hunter. I'd say he's probably B tier. If I had the choice between any hunter in the game, I definitely wouldn't pick him up. He's very subpar in what he wants to do, and he can do it well. Like, he can have really good lane control, but he just can't carry it out. I'd rather pick up Shablanke, who has the massive team ult. On her, his ult can help out his team, help out himself, you know? So you just gotta keep that kind of stuff in mind, you know? So right now, I am right under the beehive, and I have 2.41 attack speed. Now keep in mind that attack speed actually caps out at 2.5. So if you think about it, he is shooting for like a really fast amount right now, and in a 1v1 boxing scenario, that is huge. That is such a big advantage over the enemy. You just can't really compete with that. But he has really low base health, so if you're not building any defensive items, and I really hope you don't, because hunters aren't about defensive items, you know, they're kind of all in, but Ah-Muzen-Cab is too all in, if that makes any sense, because How are you gonna get out if you have 10 health? You know, if you're an Onher, you jump over a wall. If you're an Uller, you jump over the wall. If you're a Shablanke, you dash away. What about him? He just has movement speed. I mean, sure, it's okay, but in a scenario where you're 5, where your whole team is dead and you're the only one left and they're all chasing you, the only thing you have is movement speed that could be killed once you hit this honeycomb, and then slow, which slows them 25%, but that's still meh, to say the least. Someone could just really cripple you or slow you or CC you and you're basically dead as Ah-Muzen-Cab. So see here, he does massive amounts of damage, and like I didn't even use any abilities on him really. So you just apply the honey like that, go like that, all of a sudden Raw's dead. This is he's really hard to hit, especially when you have a greater sprint and he's around beehives. So to counter Ah-Muzen-Cab, all you have to do, kill a beehive. That's it. Because if he puts one up right now, let's see. I'll put one up right now. Say the enemy ADC hits that. I have 16 seconds to wait for another one, and I'm stuck with, and I'd be stuck with lower attack speed, up to 1.94. So that's huge. Like, you could see the dividing line right here and right here. Makes a huge difference. So if you want to shut down, if you want to know how to shut down an AMC, you just pressure him really hard, you know? You get right up in his face, he can't do anything, really. Other than, like, if he misses his ultimate, then he's pretty much dead. But if you jump in front of him, he lands his stinger, uses his swarm on you, then you might be dead. So you gotta really think about the consequences of going in and what will happen, you know? You gotta trust in yourself, gotta trust in your instincts, and really know what you're doing, I suppose. That's another unique thing about his honey, is that it can like, it's really short, but you can just go like this. So anyone that goes over this line gets infected by the bees and gets a 25% slow. So yeah, I would not suggest the Transcendence, or not Transcendence, the Heartseeker build, simply because he dies way too easily. But it is cheaper, and it does a lot of damage, which can help out AMC, but I think that he'll do a lot better with the Devourer gloves. So if you want to try out the Heartseeker, I mean, by all means, but to me, I just think he's much better with Devourer's gauntlets. And you can use honey even without the beehives, but it'll just be honey, you know. It'll just have the 25% movement speed debuff. That's about it for Ah-Muzen-Cab. He's not exactly straightforward. You gotta know just to use the honey on the hives like that. You know, you gotta know when to run away. That's the main thing. You gotta know certain situations, especially for AMC. He just dies way too easily, so you gotta know when to run away and when to fight. That's a huge part of Smite, really, is just situational awareness. So you really gotta keep your eye on that. Anyways, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, favorite, and subscribe.